मैंने Gujarat allegedly tied a dog to a bike and dragged it on the road for
Good afternoon, all of you. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
What was the last thing we dealt with in the previous class?
Sir, we did a question from exercise 4.
Yeah.
There was a pulley system whose answer was 0.09. Was
30th
a
question,
long
I
term.
guess.
So 0.9 seconds.
So
Okay,
0.9.
0.9. We
Yes,
have
second
done
and the
that.
third part was homework.
Yes, sir.
When was our last class?
Day before yesterday.
Day before yesterday, sir.
Tuesday.
So homework didn't.
Mass system will be started today.
Yeah. Good, Grace. Good, we are safe. Where are the other students? Okay. Now, when you are speaking about variable mass, follow the game. Variable mass. F is equal to dP by d. d by dt of m into v. Till now you were only dealing with m into dv by dt. Now you have to deal with v into dm by dt as well. Till now you were neglecting this because it was a point object. Till now you were neglecting it because it is a point object. Here afterwards you will have to take this also into consideration. We will call this technically as thrust force, Ft, thrust force. I will calculate this value and I'll show to you by proper conservation of momentum. Right? Now, what is the procedure to be followed with all the problems? Now, hereafter, to all the existing forces, we will add a thrust force and equate it to mass into acceleration. This is plus or minus depending on whether the mass is increasing or decreasing, which I will show you. Right? Bring this to the left. It is plus or minus. So along with all the existing forces, you will add one more force called thrust force with the right sign and equate it to mass into acceleration along with all the existing forces. All the existing forces. Add one more force called thrust force and equate it to mass into acceleration. Till now you were taking only external force and you were equating it to mass into acceleration. Now, along with all the existing forces, you will take one more force called thrust force, V dm by dt. We will make changes in this. This V will be relative velocity, which I will derive right now. Take it down. Take it.
Sir, your F plus minus Ft you have written, won't it be only minus Ft because the sign will
Switch
get...
off the mic. Switch off the mic.
Okay, sir.
Noted, sir.
Wait.
Noted, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now, we will first see how do we add this thrust force with a plus or a minus. Now this plus and minus will come into picture because in some situations mass can increase, some situations mass can decrease. First, I will take the situation of mass decreasing rocket propulsion. If mass is decreasing, let me consider mass capital M moving with a velocity of u somewhere in the outer space where there is no gravity. Right? Delta M is ejected with a velocity Vr. Kyun bhai sab? Why are you taking relative velocity? You know you will have to conserve momentum with respect to ground. So why are you taking relative velocity? Because in practical reasons, I will be able to measure only relative velocity. There is a rocket going into the outer space. There are sensors fit behind the rocket which will measure the exhaust speed. So the speed of the exhaust is measured by the sensor placed on the rocket. So what am I measuring?
Relative velocity.
Relative velocity.
Relative
of the
velocity,
exhaust.
yes, sir.
Not measure the velocity of the flex with respect to ground. The sensors placed on the rocket can measure Vr only. So for practical reasons, I can tell you the speed of delta M or the ejected mass with respect to the rocket. If I want to conserve momentum, I will have to translate this velocity with respect to ground and conserve momentum. Plus capital M minus delta M. This will be U plus delta M. Mass decreased by delta M. Velocity increased by U plus delta U. But now when I want to conserve linear momentum, I will have to translate this to with respect to ground. Velocity of delta M with respect to the original mass plus velocity of the original mass with respect to ground is velocity of delta M with respect to ground. M minus delta M into U plus delta. Delta M into Vr plus U plus delta M. This is the velocity with respect to ground. M minus delta M into U plus delta M. Right? You are conserving linear momentum, total initial momentum, and total final momentum. Delta M into VR, delta M into U, delta M into delta U, capital M into U, capital M into delta U, minus delta M into U, minus delta M into delta U. I just opened up the brackets. This is capital M into delta M into delta U will get cancelled. Delta M into U will get cancelled. Capital M into U will get cancelled. What am I left with? Capital M into delta U is minus VR into delta small m. Divide by delta T on both sides. Right? M into A will be minus VR dm by dt. This is what you will call as the thrust force. Here there is no other force acting. Hence you are left with only thrust force. Here there is no other force acting. Hence you are left with thrust force equated to mass into acceleration. Suppose if there are n number of forces acting on it, along with all the existing forces, add one more force called thrust force. And remember the sign. Here what happened? Mass is
Decreasing.
Decreasing.
mass is decreasing.
Decreasing.
Mass is decreasing. If mass is decreasing, thrust force is opposite to direction of VR. Thrust force I am getting minus VR. So if mass is decreasing, verify the direction of the relative velocity. You can eject mass in the backward as well as forward direction. This is a rocket. Generally, rocket will eject in the backward direction so that it goes in the forward direction. What if I had a propellant forwards? If I eject forwards, the thrust force will be in the backward direction. So verify the direction of relative velocity. When the mass is decreasing, thrust force and relative velocity are in opposite direction. If mass is increasing, thrust force is in the direction of VR. If the mass is increasing, thrust force will be in the direction of VR. I will prove this increasing mass and show you that you will get a positive sign incidentally, right? In a different way. Instead of conserving momentum, I'll show you the external force. First, take this down.
Sir, I just only have a doubt in the right hand side equation, the first one. Just the first one. Could you please explain that?
You have to tell me what it is. Right hand side equation is kahan pe?
Right hand side, matlab, the where you have put delta m into VR plus u plus delta u, and why on the other one you have yeah.
Momentum of this. Mass into velocity. This is momentum of the ejected mass. Delta m into velocity with respect to ground.
Yep. Got it, sir. Got it, sir. Thank you.
Sir,
Huh?
do we have to remember it when mass is decreasing, velocity is increasing, or is there some theory behind
Your
it?
sign convention you have to remember.
Okay, okay.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Okay, okay. To remember this sign convention, first of all, if mass is decreasing, thrust force will be opposite to the direction of relative velocity. If mass is increasing, thrust force will be in the direction of relative velocity. I'll take two standard examples to first explain how to start this problem. Consider a funnel from which sand is falling at the rate of mu kg per second, and the funnel is fixed. The funnel is fixed, it will not move. Sand is falling into what? A very long car. A very long car. Initial mass of the car is m0. Do not worry about the sand falling out or the cart moving away and the sand falling out of the car. Cart is sufficiently long. Everything starts at time t equal to 0. At t equal to 0, you started applying a force of F. At t equal to 0, sand starts spilling out of the funnel. At t equal to 0, velocity was 0. Everything starts at time t equal to 0. Everything starts at t equal to 0. Everything means what? Force being applied, sand starts spilling out of the funnel and into the car. Velocity at t equal to 0 is u is equal to 0. They are asking you find velocity as a function of time. First of all, At the first glance, it will appear force is equal to mass into acceleration. Mass is changing, hence calculus will come into picture. Along with changing mass, there is a thrust force. Why will there be thrust force? Mass is spilling into the car and there is relative velocity between the spilling sand and the car. So you write after time t, in a short time interval dt, let the velocity of the car be v. After time t, in a short time interval dt, let the velocity of the car be v. Here, mass is increasing, thrust force will be in the direction of VR. Here mass is increasing, mass is falling into the conveyor belt. So thrust force will be in the direction of relative velocity. Relative velocity of what with respect to what? Sand particle with respect to the car. You're drawing the free body diagram for the car. Right? If you are taking the cart this way, you are applying the force in this direction. Relative velocity of the sand particle, velocity of the sand particle with respect to the cart is velocity of the sand minus velocity of the cart. Horizontal velocity of the sand particle is 0.
0.
Minus velocity of the cart after time t in a short time interval d. Now, velocity of the sand particle with respect to the cart is minus v. That means in the backward direction. Relative velocity of the sand particle with respect to the cart is velocity of the cart in the backward direction. Thrust force will be in the direction of relative velocity. So I will take thrust force in this particular direction. Firstly, is the direction clear?
So won't vertical velocity of sand particle come into picture?
So you want to take vertical forces in this?
Okay, sorry sir.
We are interested only in the horizontal forces right now because friction is not given at the lower point. If friction is given, then vertical forces will come into the picture.
But originally only thrust force component will act in that direction, right?
मतलब
So क्योंकि नीचे गिर रहा है तो thrust for velocity relative velocity के direction में होगा जो थोड़ा angle पे होगा ना vertical से.
हमने वर्टिकल वेलोसिटी लिया ही नहीं हमने, तो वर्टिकल कंपोनेंट कहां से आएगा? हमने हॉरिजॉन्टल रिलेटिव वेलोसिटी लिया है. We are taking the relative velocity in the horizontal direction, so we will get the thrust force in the horizontal direction.
Yes sir, got it.
Now my dynamic equation is F minus Ft is mass into acceleration, dv by dt. Remember, thrust force is in the backward direction because thrust force will be in the direction of VR. Thrust force will be in the direction of VR. And relative velocity of the sand particle with respect to the cart is in the backward direction. Mass is increasing. Thrust force is in the direction of VR. So F minus Ft. F minus VR dm by dt is equal to m into dv by dt. F minus, what is VR? Small v. What is dm by dt? Mu. Right? Small v. Velocity of the cart after time t. Mu is equal to m naught plus mu t into dv by dt. F minus mu v. F minus mu v is equal to m naught plus mu t into dv.
So won't it be F plus V mu, like mu V?
Yes, sir.
Relative velocity is negative, no?
कितने बार लोगे नेगेटिव साइन? एक ही बार लेना है. Relative velocity is in the backward direction, hence thrust force is in the backward direction. अब डायरेक्शन thrust force के लिए ले लिया, फिर से नेगेटिव डालोगे.
Okay, sir. So like for the formula for FT, we put mod VR.
Right, mod VR, magnitude of Ft is mod VR dm by dt. Once I
Okay.
know the direction of Ft, I'll go ahead with the directions as it is.
Okay, sir.
Now, why did you write m as m naught plus mu t? Initial mass is m naught. Mu is the rate at which mass is falling into it. Mu into t, in that short time interval dt, the mass will be m naught plus mu t. Now, this will be dv divided by f minus mu is equal to dt divided by m naught plus mu t. Time t equal to 0, velocity was 0. Time t equal to t, I want the velocity as a function of time. Now this will be ln of f minus mu v upon minus mu 0 to v. Ln of m naught plus mu t upon mu 0 to t. Right? Mu and mu will get cancelled out. Minus sign will be taken to the numerator of the right hand side. Can you do the simplification further by substituting the limits?
Yes.
Ln A minus ln B is ln A by B. Can you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm waiting for you. Tell me the final answer.
Sir, I was silly doubt that how did you write m as m naught plus mu t?
M naught is the initial mass at time t equal to 0. After time t, how much mass added to it? Mu into t.
Oh, okay, sir, got it. Thank you, sir.
In a short time interval dt, this mass is considered to be constant, m naught plus mu.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I'm getting F upon F minus mu V is equal to m naught plus mu T upon m naught.
Cross multiply, simplify, and find out velocity.
Oh, okay, sir.
Sir, is it V equal to FT by mu T plus m naught?
Right.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
could you please repeat the final answer?
I will put it on the board. Waiting.
Copied, sir.
Noted, sir.
Just a second.
Sir, done.
What is the final answer you people got? B is
FT.
equal to FT divided by M
M
naught.
naught
M
plus
naught plus
mu
mu
t.
t.
Mu t. Yes, sir. Barabar.
All you have to do is apply limits. Ln A minus ln B is ln A by B. Do the same thing here. Don't forget the negative sign. Cross multiply and simplify. This is the answer that you will get. Now listen. The vice versa. Now this is a track. You apply a force of F at time t equal to 0. Initial mass is m naught. Everything starts at time t equal to 0 here as well. Right? Sand starts spilling out of the car at mu kg per second at time t equal to 0. Force is applied at time t equal to 0. Initial velocity is 0 at time t equal to 0. At t equal to 0, sand starts spilling out. F is applied at t equal to 0. At t equal to 0, u is 0. Find the velocity of the cart as a function of time. Find velocity of cart as a function of time. First, decide the direction of the thrust force. Type in the chat box. Only if you get the thrust force correct, you will go ahead with the simplification. First, decide the direction of thrust force. If somebody types the correct answer, I will call out for your name. Till then, keep typing. Till now, whoever typed have got it wrong. Fadil got it correct.
सर आप पीछे हो सकते हो, स्क्रीन पूरा क्लियर हो रहा है.
Two students got it correct. Remaining all got it wrong. Ashok, you got it correct. Now listen. Thrust force in the horizontal direction is 0 because the relative velocity in the horizontal direction is 0. Only 3 students got that correct. Sand particles spilling out of the cart will have the same velocity as that of the cart. So what is the relative velocity? 0. So what is the thrust force? 0. If ever there is a thrust force, it will be in the vertical direction, not in the horizontal direction. If you are using, if sand is spilling on its own, initial velocity in the downward direction is also 0. Sand is spilling. So initial velocity in the downward direction, you are dropping your body. So initial velocity in the downward direction is 0. So thrust force overall is 0. Horizontal, the cart will acquire velocity, no yaar. Fine. But sand particle will have the same velocity as that of the cart when it is spilling out of the cart. So horizontal velocity of the sand particle and the horizontal velocity of the cart will be the same. So what happens to the relative velocity? 0. Thrust force 0. If ever you take a piston and push the sand in the downward direction, then the cart will fly in the upward direction. But here sand is spilling, initial velocity is 0, so vertical force also is 0. So thrust force in this problem is 0, but then yet calculus will come into picture. Why will calculus come into picture? Because
Mass is changing.
Mass is decreasing.
F is equal to m naught minus mu t into dv by t. Initial mass is m naught minus mu t. This amount of mass is removed in time t. dv by m naught minus mu t. So dt by m naught minus mu t is dv by f. Time t equal to 0, velocity 0, time t equal to t. Find the velocity as a function of time. Ln of m naught minus mu t upon mu 0 to t is 1 by f into b minus 0. This is t, this is b. Right? You know further how to simplify. I need the velocity as a function of time. I need the velocity as a function of time.
Can you just once more explain why the vertical thrust force will also be 0?
Initial velocity of the sand particles spilling downwards in the vertical direction is 0.
Yes, sir.
Unless you use a piston and give it some velocity in the downward direction, initial velocity of the sand particle in the vertical direction while it is spilling will be 0.
Sir, is it f by mu into ln m naught by m naught plus mu t?
Right. This answer I don't remember. I'll also have to do the simplification.
M naught
Oh,
minus mu.
I have not minus mu t, sorry.
Yes, so correct.
Okay, fine, fine.
Noted, sir.
Now this will be ln of m naught minus mu t minus ln m naught is equal to minus mu v by f. Mu v by f. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
This will be ln of m naught minus mu t by m naught is equal to mu v by f. Bring f to the numerator, mu to the denominator, you get velocity is a function of time.
Sir, you missed the negative sign.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, there will be a negative sign.
No, last.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, there will
Last
be.
step, last step. Yes, sir.
Now suppose you are speaking about rocket propulsion. Rocket propulsion. Now this is a tricky derivation. One negative sign is a controversy always. Mass of the rocket is small m, capital M. Mass of the exhaust. Right. Even HCV, he will skip the negative sign and directly write. One thing for sure, I know that thrust force will be in the upward direction. Why? Because the mass is decreasing. Mg will be in the downward direction. Mass is decreasing. So thrust force is opposite to the direction of Vr. Relative velocity will be in the downward direction. When mass is decreasing, you did the derivation for decreasing mass and you got a negative sign.
Yes, sir.
You said capital M ejects a small and delta M mass. So you did the derivation for decreasing mass and you got thrust force is minus Vr dm by dt. If I would have taken M plus delta M, I would have got thrust force as Vr dm by dt. Now here thrust force will be opposite to the direction of Vr. After time t, after time t in a short time interval dt, let the velocity of the rocket be v. After time t in a short time interval dt, let the velocity of the rocket be v, small. So what will your dynamic equation be? Thrust force minus capital Mg is equal to capital M into dP by dt. Till here, is everybody convinced?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now I'll be able to hear. Now thrust force you will write as VR dm by dP minus capital Mg capital M dV by dt. Thrust force को already direction you have taken. Now, quietly 99% of the books will put a negative sign here without explaining what they have done. Minus dm by dt minus capital Mg is capital M into dE by dt. And they write the explanation that mass is decreasing. यार mass is decreasing, इसीलिए तो आपने thrust force का direction already ले लिया. तो फिर दूसरी बार नेगेटिव क्यों डाल रहे हो? पहले कभी नहीं किया ऐसा. नेगेटिव साइन एक ही बार लेंगे. Firstly, did you people understand the query?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
sir, I have a doubt. Sir, I have a doubt.
Because the mass is decreasing, you already took the direction of the thrust force. अब फिर से again negative sign क्यों introduce किया आपने? And you write there very easily, the mass is decreasing. Observe carefully. This small m is the mass of the exhaust. Capital M is the mass of the rocket. Rate at which the exhaust mass is increasing is equal to the rate at which the rocket mass is decreasing. This small m is the mass of the exhaust. Capital M is the mass of the rocket. Small m is the mass of exhaust. Capital M is the mass of rocket. Obviously, rate at which the exhaust is increasing will be equal to the rate at which the mass of the rocket is decreasing. So dm d capital M by dt will be negative of d small m by dt. Is the point clear to all?
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So why will the mg be constant? As mass is decreasing, mg will also decrease, right? It will be m minus small
Capital
m.
M is the mass of the rocket at time t in a short time interval dt.
Okay, got
If
it,
not,
sir.
you will write it as m naught plus mu t or m naught minus mu t. Capital M
Okay,
is the
got it,
mass
sir.
of the rocket after time t in a short time interval t. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now look at the simplification part of this. Divide all throughout by m minus Vr by capital M dm, right? dm by dt minus g is dv by dt, right? Now multiply all throughout by dt and take this to the right. Fine. Or keep this here, dv minus Vr dm by m minus gd. What have I done? I multiplied all throughout by dt. Time t equal to 0, mass was capital M naught. Time t equal to 0, velocity was u. I am not taking initial velocity 0. If it is 0 in the last step, you can substitute. Right? Now, final velocity will be v. capital M, I'll call it M final, I'll call it M initial for your convenience. This is T. Now this will become V minus U is equal to, you will write V minus U. Have a look at it. You are applying the limits at this particular point. We are with a negative sign, ln of mass final minus mass initial minus G. Now V is equal to U minus GT plus VR ln of initial mass by final mass. This is the standard value for rocket propulsion. Observe this. I took U to the right and I put U minus GT. VR and ln M initial by M final. This negative sign I took it here and reversed this M initial by M final. Velocity of the rocket as a function of time. Velocity of the rocket as a function of time. In this case, we have neglected air friction because you were dealing with rocket propulsion in free space. We have not taken air friction. Air friction will come only in the first 8 to 11 kilometers of the rocket. The rocket travels a distance of 36,000 kilometers as far as satellites is concerned. Your air resistance will come only in the first 11 kilometers. So practically you are taking at time t equal to 0 velocity as u. You have dealt with the problem just after it leaves Earth's atmospheric layers.
So, I didn't get why did you take velocity of u at time equals 0?
So put it as 0, I don't think. If you want to take initial velocity 0, put it as 0. At time t equal to 0, you want to start from there with initial velocity 0, put it as 0.
But sir, I didn't get why did you take it as 0? Well, why did you take it as u? What was the reason?
I am not getting your doubt. You are asking me V is equal to U plus AT. Why are you taking U? क्या जवाब दूँ? U is the initial velocity. जो initial velocity है वो substitute करोगे. अगर 0 है 0 substitute करो. Non-zero है तो value substitute करो. Why did you take it as U means उसका क्या जवाब हो सकता है?
Okay, sir, I got my answer.
Sir, if air friction is there, then we would add one more term for like that BV something like that, no air friction.
Right. Net total with all these forces, sum of air friction will be equal to mass into acceleration.
Okay, sir.
Sir, are we supposed to memorize this result?
Yes, that result you are supposed to remember.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Now, transition to chain problems. Observe this carefully. Suppose you drop a chain on the floor, on the table, on the floor, kahin par. You are dropping a chain on the floor. Temporarily, for your convenience, they tell you a heap is not formed. Heap is not formed. So how will the chain be? The chain will be like this. If this is the distance x, this will be x distance. If it falls by a distance of x, this will be x. Why are they trying to avoid the heap?
So
Because
the distance height will change.
can you keep the mic off when I'm explaining something? Heap, there is a probability of shape. I don't know the shape of the heap. Will it be a conical shape? It will be a proper cone. We actually don't know. Heap is a question of probability. So what will be the direction of the force cannot be ascertained. Hence, they tell you in an ideal situation, temporarily avoid formation of a heap. And then, what do they ask? Force exerted on the platform. Force exerted on platform. Force exerted on the platform at the first thought, it will appear to you is the weight of chain on platform. Weight of the chain on the platform, there is another force. What is this force here? Now forget about the thrust force. Let us go from first principle. There is a small element dm striking the ground and coming to rest. There is a small element dm striking the ground and coming to rest. So it will exert a force on the ground. So that will be dm into v minus 0 by dt. I'm not worried about the direction because I know if a chain is falling on the ground, the force exerted on the ground will be in the downward direction. On the chain will be in upward direction. It is more like telling you a body falling this way. It falls, it exerts a force on the ground in the downward direction. So this element of the chain, after striking the ground, will come to rest. Initially, it has got a velocity of v. So once it is striking the ground and coming to rest, there is a change in momentum. There is a change in momentum, there should be a force exerted. So along with the weight of the chain on the platform, you have another additional force acting on the platform in the downward direction. What is the weight of the chain on the platform? Lambda x into g, where lambda is mass per unit length. Weight of the chain on the platform plus v dm by dx into dx by dt. dm by dt you wrote as dm by dx into dx by dt, lambda x into g. dm by dx is mass per unit length, right? Lambda v square. This is v, dx by dt is v. This is lambda. This becomes lambda v square. This will be the force exerted on the platform. Now, what if somebody says, here, why will I do it from the first principles? Another way of looking at it. Some say it is lambda x into g plus v dm by dt. This is your first equation, v dm by dt plus v. Some students preferably put it this way, v d by dt into lambda x. The mass of the small element striking dm will be d of lambda x into g plus lambda v dx by dt. You will get lambda x into g plus lambda v square. Just another way of presenting the same thing. Now, some may say, why will I do this from the first principle here? You already derived the formula for variable mass. Net total force exerted will be weight plus thrust force. You already derived the thrust force expression for us. I'll use it directly. You're welcome. This is lambda x into g plus Vr dm by dt. I know the direction of the force is in the downward direction on the platform. Here I don't need to worry about the direction. Lambda x into g plus v dm by dx into dx by dt. Lambda x into g plus dx by dt is v, dm by dx is lambda. Lambda v square. This is the third way of writing this. This is the first way of writing. This is the second way of doing it. Incidentally, this should be further simplified. And the result will be interesting. This velocity, now all three are the same. Now have a look at it. Fa is lambda x into g plus lambda of 2gx whole square. What did you substitute velocity as? The chain is freely falling. Velocity is root over of 2gx. V square is equal to u square plus 2gx. Now that square, this becomes lambda x into g plus 2 times lambda x into g. That means net total force is 3 times the weight of the chain on the platform. Two ways of stating this statement. Either you tell me thrust force is 2 times the weight of the chain on the platform, or you tell me total force exerted is 3 times the weight of the chain on the platform. Thrust force is 2 times the weight of the chain on the platform, or tell me total force is 3 times the weight of the chain on the platform. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Take it down to here.
Can you tell why they avoid a heap again?
Forget about it. Just avoid a heap.
Okay, sir.
So here v is the velocity of dm right before it strikes the ground, right?
Yes. The small
sir.
element strikes the ground with a velocity v and comes to rest.
Sir,
Hello?
here for dm by dt, why are we differentiating it with respect to dx in using chain rule?
अब उसको x के फॉर्म में चाहिए तो ऐसा लिखा है.
अच्छा ठीक है, no problems.
dm by dx is lambda, hence I want to bring it in terms of dm by dx.
अच्छा okay.
Mass per unit length. Lambda is given.
No problem.
Sir, the red expression which you have written on the side of weight of chain on the platform, that is basically change in momentum divided by time, right?
Right. Change in momentum divided by time. That will be the force exerted on the floor.
So at that time dt, the dm mass will be free falling. I mean, why would the initial velocity be zero?
Just before striking, its velocity will be v. Just after striking, the velocity is 0.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
More appropriately, you want me to write 0 minus that, right? But that will give me a negative sign, and I'm not worried about that negative sign because I already know the direction of the force exerted on the platform.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you explain the second column equation, that lambda xg plus v dm by dt, how you got it?
Lambda xg into the same equation I've written.
Oh, okay, sir. I thought that's a different method.
Same, only thing I put instead of m lambda x. See, this same equation I wrote here. This is weight. V
Yes,
dm
sir.
by
I got it. Yes, I got it. Thank you, sir.
Can I rub the board?
Yes,
Now here, interestingly, relative velocity was nothing but the velocity of the chain because the platform was at rest. Here, interestingly, relative velocity is nothing but the velocity of the chain because the platform is at rest. What if the platform is also moving? For a chain, we will ask you the total force exerted on the platform as a function of time. Now, what happens is when the chain is released, the platform starts accelerating upwards. Now, what is the question? When the chain is released, platform starts accelerating upwards. after time t, this distance moved is half at square. This distance moved is half gt square. Now here you want it as a function of time. Force exerted on the platform as a function of time. Force exerted on platform as a function of time. Now here, first be lambda into x. What is the length of the chain on the platform? What is the length of the chain on the platform?
Half a plus gt square.
Half at square plus half gt square. It fell by a distance of half gt square. It moved up by a distance of half at square. Mass per unit length into length, I will get the mass. How do I get the weight? I should multiply mass with
G.
Mass per unit
G
length
factor.
into length, I'll get the mass. I'll have to multiply mass with
Acceleration.
Acceleration.
G plus A.
Plus G.
G plus G.
G plus A.
G plus A. Man in a lift. Lift is accelerating upwards. So it will be G plus A plus of lambda VR square. Thrust force will be VR dm by dt. VR dm by dx into dx by dt. Dx by dt will be VR lambda v square. Now remember, this is the relative velocity. Previous case I took it as velocity because the platform was at rest. Not anymore. Lambda by 2 g plus a whole square t square plus lambda gt minus of minus at whole square. Lambda gt minus of minus at. Velocity of the chain in the downward direction is gt. Minus of minus at is the velocity of the platform. This will be the relative velocity. This will be g plus a whole square t square plus lambda g plus a whole square t square. This will be the force exerted on the platform as a function of time. 3 by 2 times lambda g plus a whole square t square.
So,
Bolo.
can you explain the first half equation, the half equation of the first one? Yes,
Mass
sir.
per unit length into length of the chain on the platform. Platform moved up by half at square, chain fell by half gt square. Mass per unit length into length. I get the mass of the chain on the platform. To get the weight, you should know what you should multiply that with.
So,
Bolo.
I'm not understanding how half at square plus half gt square is the length of the chain. I'm not understanding that thing.
This is the chain.
Yes,
If my
sir.
hand moves up by a distance of half at square, how much length is there on my hand?
Half at square.
And the chain fell by half gt square. How much length is there on my hand?
Half at square plus half gt square. Okay, sir.
Okay.
No.
Wait, sir. Wait, sir.
I will take another one complete lecture to complete conservation of momentum. We have to solve a few more things on variable mass. Variable mass is not at all. But with whatever has been covered till now, you can comfortably solve HCV and booklet. Complete booklet, yes.
Okay.
I will need one more lecture to complete conservation of momentum.
Sir, this doubt lecture, is it possible? Will it be possible for you to take exercise 1 doubts?
When is this doubt lecture?
Tomorrow.
Friday, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
I think some people wanted a few queries from the paper to be discussed. Am I right?
Yes.
Empty paper.
Yes.
If there are no queries in the empty paper, I'll go ahead with exercise 1 of the booklet.
So did you finish discussing HCV?
Sir, HCV is not complete.
Yes, sir. It's not completed.
Then first we deal with HCV, then we'll go to the booklet.
We can do that
Okay, sir.
57 sum also.
Pardon?
We can do the 57 sum.
Now you can solve the 57th. The problem before this was the 57th, which we discussed. That itself is the 57th problem.
Okay, sir.
So, sir, after one more lecture, rotational dynamics.
Yes.
So then paper discussion tomorrow will be there or not tomorrow?
Pardon?
Tomorrow you will take empty doubts or not?
First empty doubts, then HCV, then we will go to exercise 1 of the book.
Okay, sir.
Yes, you have to complete the module. Do it
So
as
class is
early as possible.
So lecture over.
Yes.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye. Good
Bye,
day.
sir.
Bye,
Thank you.
sir.
Good day,
Good
sir.
day.
Goodbye, sir. Thank you.